What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the first episode back of the Not That Serious podcast. I hope everybody's having a great night tonight. I already see the homies in the chat. What's going on, Pintuple? How you doing, man? Dude, it's been so long doing this. Oh my gosh. It's been a little bit, man. Yeah, tonight we got a good episode for you guys. It's not going to be very news focused. Okay, I just wanted to come back and kind of chat with you guys a little bit. It's been, I don't even know how long. Yeah, my dog. Let's go. Pintuple in the chat. Man, I don't even know how long it's been. It's been a little bit, though, since I've done a podcast episode. We're back in the OG setup. We're not in the in the makeshift studio at a coffee shop, so let's go. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding. No, I actually did like that studio. I actually did like it, but it turns out, at like 10 or 11 at night, it turns out it's actually nice to be home, and like not 30 minutes away from my house. So it's great. Yo, what's going on, Stro? Showing so much love in the chat. Stro, just for everybody is not watching the Twitch chat right now, Stro just said F you in the Twitch chat. So appreciate that, Stro. Appreciate that, brother. Yo, what's going on? Papa Car 08. What's going on, everybody? So yeah, man, like I said, tonight's episode is going to be a little bit laid back. It's not going to be very news focused. I think tonight's episode, I mainly just kind of want to catch up with you guys, talk to chat a lot, to be honest with you, kind of see how you guys are doing, and also make this like an introduction episode because, I was thinking about the podcast and all the episodes we've done over the past 2 years. We've done the podcast on and off. And I don't think I ever did like an introduction episode. I don't think I ever did like a true intro episode. So that's what we're gonna be doing tonight. I'm just gonna give you guys kind of a rundown of who I am, what the show is about, and yeah. And then the plan is just to talk to chat some. So yeah, I just to start out, my name obviously Drew Chandler. The show's called Not That Serious with Drew Chandler. Been doing the podcast on and off for about 2 years now. I am a 21-year-old conservative Catholic. I love politics, culture, Christianity, obviously, most importantly. So that's kind of a little bit of my background. Co-owner of Frontier Coffee Company. Great time to mention that, by the way. If you guys want to support, be sure to go buy some coffee. Yeah, can you guys tell I haven't done a show in a little bit? Is it obvious to everybody? Just kind of going off the spot, but. Let's see here. We got some questions in chat here. Let's see. Stro says, "Let's bomb Venezuela." Based? No, I'm just no. Actually, I want to hear you guys' thoughts about that. What do you guys think about the Venezuela bombing? Papa, let's see here. Says, "Do you like any NFL team?" To be honest with you, I'm really not a NFL fan. I really don't like professional sports. I'm more of a college sports guy, to be honest with you. I think college sports are just more entertaining because the players actually have something to prove. When you are a professional sports player, what really is there to prove? You've already made your millions. Congrats. Like you've made it to the big leagues. But with college, they're trying to get to the big leagues, right? So they have to play better. They have to try to prove themselves if they want to get these deals. These NIL deals. Then they got to go crazy on the field, Hey, let's go, Stro, with the $2 donation. Appreciate you, brother. I don't know if I have did the alerts work, chat? Everybody in chat, did the alerts work? I don't know if the alerts worked on here, but yeah, yo, Stro, thank you so much for the donation, brother. I appreciate it. But yeah, man, as you guys can see, that's kind of the nature of the podcast, it's kind of a weird, you see a lot of podcasts who they have a sit-down conversation with somebody every week, and that's kind of their episode. Or you see some live streamers who have a very, scheduled type of podcast. I don't really do that. I'm more free-flowing. I like the different mini conversation that goes on. I think it's interesting. Obviously I try to stay on track as much as I can, but I am very ADHD as a person. So it does get hard to do that. But yeah, I guess kind of getting back to what we were talking about, though, kind of what the show is about. I was thinking about this today. I think the reason why I named it Not That Serious is because it kind of goes along with what we were just talking about a second ago. The way people see the world, some people take it way too serious. Some people don't take it serious at all. As Aristotle says, virtue is the means in between, right? A lot of times you'll find the virtue not at the extreme of one side or not the extreme of the other side, but somewhere in the middle, right? That's usually where the virtue lies. And so I think with this show, I like it being called Not That Serious because we can talk. We can talk about serious things. We can talk about serious subjects. We can have serious conversations. But at the end of the day, it's like Jesus is king. So at the end of the day, it is serious. Some topics obviously are serious, but ultimately Christ's in control, and it's not that serious. So that's that's kind of the nature of the show. Just for all the new viewers out there, if there's anybody new tuning in, that's kind of why I named it this. What the nature of the show is. What we talk about on here, we talk about politics, obviously, but I was thinking about this today too. I don't want this show to be exclusively political. I think the political is useful. I think it's a good thing. But ultimately, I think that we have to think about eternity, and Jesus Christ should be on the forefront of our minds at all times and in all things, right? And so whether it's politics we're talking about, whether it's culture we're talking about, any of these things, ultimately, the reason why we talk about them and why I have a podcast and why I like doing this kind of stuff is to bring people to the Lord Jesus Christ. That is the ultimate goal of all this, right? And so I think it's important that we always have that undertone in the show. Yes, there will be edgy jokes. Yes, I do have a dark sense of humor, right? But ultimately, it's about him. I don't know if you guys can see him in the background. I love that portrait right there. That's ultimately where it's about. Let's see here. Pintup on the chat says, "Where is Stro? I'm trying to beef." He's in the Twitch chat right now. He's in the Twitch chat. You got to go take that up with him, bro. Had a nice message too. Yeah, let me read the donation message for everybody who missed it. He said, Stro Obama tipped $2.18. I effing hate you. I genuinely cannot explain how much I hate you. Same BS every election cycle. Abortion, guns, and tax argument. There are more issues in the country than these. Stop the carousel mentality. Free Mamdani. Yes, free Mamdani. Free what's his name? What's the Maduro? Free Maduro. Free Mamdani. It's funny. I like how we talk about having a Christian ethos on the show, and then now we're talking about freeing the communist mayor of New York and freeing the communist dictator of socialist dictator. Same thing. Who cares? Bro, Buddy took the L. I don't know if you guys saw. We're gonna have to react to this clip later, but Maduro is literally rage baiting the Trump administration at his rallies now. Did you see that? Before he got abducted by the U.S. government, before they swooped in and literally took him in the middle of the night, that he literally rage baited them. I think it was Chad Champion on X. He said, Buddy emoted and then he got knocked. It's so true. It's like he was literally rage baiting, doing the Trump dance, during his rallies and everything. And he's literally just like, bro is just he's a professional rage baiter. That's what he is. That's what Maduro is, man. He's just a professional rage baiter. You can talk all day about how you don't like his policies, but at the end of the day, he successfully rage baited the president of the United States. So, kidding, jokes. Obviously, we don't endorse communism here. I'm Catholic. Okay, joking. But yeah, it is interesting to see all that go down. And I actually am curious to see your guys' thoughts on what you think about the whole, us abducting Maduro. Here's my thoughts on it. I've been thinking a lot about this recently. I hear all the arguments from everybody. I understand it. The whole argument about, oh, it's cool that we go in there. We're going to have so much oil and everything. And it's going to be great. And, imperialism isn't bad. And, what does it matter if somebody can't control the land, then maybe they don't have a right to it. If we are able to go in and take it over, then maybe they don't have the right to it. I've heard all of those arguments, and I guess the point that I would make back is I don't even necessarily disagree with some of those in principle. The problem is, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but the country is currently $40 trillion in debt. Okay. We have homeless veterans walking around. People are struggling to pay rent. Fast food is like $15 for a fucking Big Mac right now. Okay, I think we have bigger fish to fry than taking over Venezuela and stealing the dictator for their people, right? Not to say that it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just that I think that we're putting our priorities in the wrong place. Why? And I get it, national security, and that's a whole different conversation. But I'm talking about purely on a pragmatic, America first level. What are we going to prioritize, the citizens of Venezuela, or are we going to prioritize the citizens of America, essentially, right? I think that's more the conversation that needs to be had, more so than the foreign policy argument and the Monroe Doctrine and this and that. And it's like, dude, like at the end of the day, us, invading Venezuela, like what is that directly, how will that directly affect my life? How is that, the things that affect me as a 21-year-old male is, being able to afford to actually live in this economy. The things that actually affect me as a 21-year-old male, is not us going over and trying to nation build Venezuela. Like it gives me serious paranoia because of the past, 20 years we've spent over in the Middle East. And, a lot of people on Twitter, they were talking about, oh, this was such a clean operation and oh, it was great. And then today, Kristi Noem gets on I believe it was a Fox News interview, and I saw the clips were all over Twitter talking about, oh, well, Venezuelans need to apply for refugee status now to come to America. Really? So it's like we take over this whole piece of land. Oh, it's ours. Oh, we're going to get mass deportations. Oh, let's send them back. Ha ha ha. Right? And then you have literal like higher ups in the administration getting on interviews saying, hey, they all need to apply for refugee status and they all need to come to America. Right? So it's like, what is this even about, really? I can tell you right now, it's about oil. That's what it comes down to. That's the whole reason we invaded Venezuela. Okay, forget the foreign arguments. Forget the Monroe Doctrine. Oh, American imperialism is back. It's not about that, dude. It's about the friggin' oil. Okay, we want the oil. The companies want the oil. Okay. That's ultimately what it's about. So you can have like that. That's what I keep going back to in my head is it's like you can have all of these, foreign policy. You can have all these foreign policy disagreements, but at the end of the day, it's like it's about the oil. Follow the money in a certain sense, right? So that's kind of my thoughts on Venezuela. What do you guys think? Maybe I didn't articulate that the best. It's been a little bit since I've been on a podcast. I'm trying. I'll get better. Especially when, we have topics to talk about. Tomorrow will be a more structured show and, I'll be able to go into stuff more in depth. But those are just kind of my, initial thoughts on the subject. Let me know what you guys think in chat and I'll react to some of these chats here. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just like we need to bring America back to where it needs to be. And what that's going to require is having an America only mindset. Okay. I was listening to Carson Carpenter from Off the Record. He had a great point about this on a show the other day. I was listening to a show and he was talking about, the whole the idea of America First and that title has become so convoluted within the wrong camps in the Republican Party, meaning that everybody, the good faith actors and the bad faith actors, are using that term now interchangeably with different senses, right? So it's like somebody like a Lindsey Graham can say, I'm America First. And America First actually means that we need to have our foot in the Middle East everywhere and at all times, right? Whereas somebody else like like a Nick Fuentes, for example, would say, no, like I'm America First, and America First means that we don't need to be in the Middle East, right? And so it's like, at the end of the day, like, what do these terms actually mean anymore? Like, I feel like a lot of these terms are just being skin-suited. A lot of these terms are just being taken over by bad actors in order to appeal to the populist, MAGA base. And I think we need to really clarify what our terms mean and what we want as Americans. I think as Americans, we want America to be put only, right? Only America, right? It's not just enough anymore to say America First. We need to be America only, right? Oh, well, what does that mean that we don't take any more immigrants? Yeah. Oh, well, does that mean that, we don't care about the affairs of foreign nations? Yeah, it does actually. Yeah, to a certain extent. Yeah, it does. Before we start worrying about these other countries, why don't we actually, why don't we worry about the affordability crisis happening with Gen Z right now? Why is that not on the top of every politician's mind? Like Gen Z is literally the future of this country. Why are our politicians not caring about the affordability crisis going on right now, right? Why are our politicians not caring about the H-1B scam going on right now, where we have unlimited Chinese and Indian students coming into our universities, taking them over, learning from the best professors that we have, and then taking that information back to their home country, right? It's not like they're learning these things at these universities and then staying here and investing in the American market. No, it's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. They have an allegiance to their country. and they learn at these universities, and then what they do is they go back to their homelands and they take that knowledge with them to the people they're loyal to, right? So why are politicians not talking about these things that actually, truly, and substantially matter? I don't know, man. It's mind blowing to me. You know, and I don't know how. I really don't know how we go about fixing it. You know, because it seems like every time we get a candidate, for example, like Trump. Trump is a perfect example, right? Everybody got behind Trump in 24 and asked for things like mass deportations. Everybody asked for things like the release of the Epstein files. Everything asked for things like prices being cheaper. Everybody asked for these sorts of things. And what have we actually gotten from Trump, right? What have we actually gotten from this administration? Like what good has actually truly came out of this administration to where it's going to personally affect my life in a positive way, right? And not to make it like self-centered, not to make it like, oh, well, if I don't feel, then it's not happening. It's not like that. No, but it's like, if this administration is truly succeeding, you wouldn't see Trump's poll numbers dropping every single day, right? It's because people know that, hey, this administration, this whole Trump deal that's going on now, like, this is not what we were promised at all, man. It's not anything close to what we were promised at all. And it's a shame, you know, they really had a real opportunity to put, you know, ironically, America first, right? Another reason why we need to start using America only to get this point across. But yeah, so anyways, let's see what chat's saying right now, and I'll talk with chat a little bit. America and a little Canada mindset. What do you? No, dude, Canada is so gay. Okay, listen. No. We are not doing this Canadian nationalist thing. That's weird, man. We're not doing that. No, America only, Stro. I hate all my homies hate Canada. All my homies pray for the fall of it. No, I'm kidding. But but no. You know, we love Canada, okay? We want to take it over. You know, and I don't even know where I stand on that. I really would rather us not take Canada over. You know, I'd rather just us, you know, personally, here's what I would do. If I was the president of, if I was the president of the United States, here's what I would do, right? I would just literally close off the border and not let anybody else in and only worry about our country. That would be a great start. I wish this administration could do that. Be great. I brought you a big, yeah, Stro did actually, for a Christmas present, Stro actually did Uber Eats me a Big Mac. So we appreciate you, Stro. All my homies love Stro, man. Great guy. All my homies love Stro Obama. So, but yeah, man, that's, let's see here. How long have we been live for, dude, at this point? I don't even know anymore, but yeah, I'm just kind of yapping. But again, like I said, this is just an introductory episode for people who don't really know me or know anything about the podcast. This is the kind of the nature of it, man. This is a good feel. I'm usually reading chat. I'm talking about things that matter. You know, I'm just kind of chilling. I'm just kind of chilling, man. And I do like this setup though down here. I will say, I do like the setup that we got going on right now. It just feels very like cozy, you know, like very cozy, very homely. The thing I didn't like about the set at where I was at before is, you know, I would always have to drive there at night, and it kind of ruined the vibe. I was always stressed out. I was always like ready to get home, and it just really ruined the whole like podcast experience for me. I think that's why I got burnt out so fast, but hopefully we can keep this going. And I'll just say this right now. The goal for the podcast is to have this thing be a Monday through Friday show, okay? Now, in actuality, that's not going to happen, but we're going to try Monday through Friday to do as many shows as possible. So that's going to be the running goal. That's going to be the running goal, bro. Who doesn't know? Let's see here. Stro says in chat, who doesn't? Bro, that's what I'm saying. Who doesn't know me, you know? Literally Drew Chandler, host of the Not That Serious podcast, streaming everywhere, right? Exclusively on X, Twitch, Kick, Rumble, and YouTube. Exclusively on those platforms, by the way. No, but this is another good thing, too, I want to talk about. I know, bro. I know. I got to stop setting the schedules. No, you're so right, Stro. You're right. I gotta stop. Stro is telling me in chat right now to stop setting the schedules, and I will eventually stop saying I'm going to do a schedule, okay? Because it usually doesn't end up good. But I will say this, though. I will say this for certain. I have some epic stream ideas I'm planning on doing, okay? So stay tuned for that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I have some cool stream ideas. I want to get the plans finalized before I talk about them too much. But I have some cool ideas for some streams, for some podcasts, for some interviews. I think it's gonna be fun, man. So I'm glad to be back in the podcast game or whatever. But no. But for real, I am glad to be like back podcasting and everything. It really is great to be back with you guys, man. And I appreciate you guys being patient and not everybody getting on my case for not doing episodes for months. I think the last episode I did was actually back in September when it was around the time Charlie got assassinated. So I think that was the last episode I did. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys sticking around and everything and watching the podcast stuff tonight. Let's see here. Yeah, Drew X Matan Evans soon. Yo, chat. Yo, somebody clip this. Imagine the interview happens. Clip this. Clip it. Chat. Somebody clip it. Holy. What do you mean? Stro, what do you mean? But no one clipping that? Bro, just give it time. Trust. Everybody's clipping the show, bro. Trust. But no, yeah, like I said, tonight's just going to be kind of a Yappers fest. It's going to be Yappersville tonight. But I kind of just wanted you guys to get a feel of the show and have a first episode out there. So, yeah, I mean, what are some other things that have been going on in the world we can talk about for a little bit? What are some other things that have been going on so far? Let's see here. Somebody put a okay. What? Yo, somebody put a poll in the Twitch chat. They said, is Drew Chandler Russian propaganda and a Jew? Some people do call me Jew Chandlerstein, and that is not an accident. No, I'm kidding. No, you never know. You can never be too sure. Let's see here. Review the Venezuela recent shootings at the president place like an hour ago. Wait, what? Really? Wait, was there actually shootings going on at the president at the that's insane. Whoa, what? No, that's crazy. Oh, looks like let's see here. I'm looking right now. Venezuela trending. We'll see what people are saying on X about it here real quick. Developing. No, I don't see anything about it. Yeah, sure. You'll just have to. I got news fat. Yeah. No, that's insane. Yeah, prayers up to all the people who were affected in the shooting at the president's palace. That's terrible. That's never good. So yeah, prayers up to them for sure. Yeah, I hate to hear that. It's crazy. You are the only person who calls you that, bro. Everybody calls me Drew Chandlerstein. I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? Everybody calls me that. Everybody. They know my tricks by now. They know my tricks. They know my interest rates. No, I'm kidding. But they know you will know them by their interest rates. No, I'm kidding. Hopefully that doesn't hit TOS. Hopefully TOS doesn't go crazy on that. But no, I'm kidding. But yeah, so no, we've had the whole Venezuela thing going on. Honestly, what else has been in the news? It's kind of just been the main story. Kind of just been the main thing going on. Oh yeah, by the way, this is a good point too. If you guys do, so I started this podcast back up, but another podcast I've been working on is called the Franciscan Hermitage Foundation, and that one is a explicitly faith-based podcast. So hey, CB Zephyron, I appreciate the subscription, brother. Welcome to the show. Just joined out, awesome chat. Hey, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much, CB. I appreciate that, man. How are you doing tonight, brother? Thank you so much for the sub, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, so obviously, like I said, this is the first episode back. We're gonna be doing episodes Monday through Friday. Fingers crossed. But I do have this other channel here that I do exclusively Christian Catholic content for. Okay, it's called the Franciscan Hermitage Foundation. I'm doing it in. It is a podcast. It is a nonprofit. Okay, the Franciscan Hermitage Foundation is a nonprofit. But we do, have been doing podcasts. We have been doing media and stuff like that. So if you guys want to go check it out, I think I have. Yeah, I have it up here. It's called the. Let me move my face screen down here. It's called the Franciscan Hermitage Foundation, right here. The videos have actually been doing really well, man. I've been shocked. I'm being honest with you guys. When we started up this podcast, I was honestly, I was expecting probably around 200 to 500 views per episode, max, right? And God just came through, man. I mean, look at these views. This is incredible. This is a brand new channel, by the way. We did not have this channel started up from scratch, right? I'm not like a YouTube expert or anything. All God. Literally, this video, how to destroy anxiety and fear in your life. Father David and Mary, by the way, is an amazing, all the stuff that I will talk about on the show, when it comes to like Catholicism and Christianity. Father David knows what he's talking about 1,000 times fold what I'm talking about, right? So if you guys ever want like the inside scoop of like, what the church teaches about, X, Y, or Z, or what the Christian position is on X, Y, Z, we have about 6 episodes up right now. And we're just going to keep uploading more and more content. So definitely go subscribe to that channel. Let's see here. CB, that's awesome for sure. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, thank you so much, brother. But yeah, it really has been a blessing, man, because I've learned a lot from the podcast too. It's been great. I've learned a lot from the podcast, and it's been a lot of fun. So it's been great. So yeah, that's kind of like a little passion project I have, I'll just go over there. Father David Mary, he was the old priest at the parish I go to. And so whenever he went to go start up the Franciscan Hermitage Foundation, I was like, hey, let's go do podcasts. Let's do media for it. So I've been helping out with that, and it's been a lot of fun. So CB Zephyron in chat, do you have any topics you want me to discuss real quick? Do you have any questions or anything? I'd love to, answer any questions or talk about any topics. That's kind of what we're doing right now. Just, chatting away, talking with chat. So, you learn you can't follow schedules. Dude, okay, listen. I just said, fingers crossed, I will follow them Monday through Friday. But the thing is, I might take some days off because I do have a life outside of this, okay? So, that's going to be the rule. It's like aim for what is the thing? Aim for the moon and or aim for the stars and you'll land on the moon. That's kind of what we're doing here, right? It's kind of the vibe of the podcast. We're aiming for the stars. We're aiming for that Monday through Friday 5 podcasts a week. But realistically, maybe 3-4 podcasts a week, somewhere in there. I just joined. I don't sure, but thank you so much. Yeah, no problem, CB, no problem, bro. Yeah, I mean, let me just go through here and see like some of the topics. I mean, what are people even talking about right now? Let's see here. Yeah, we have a lot of governor's races going on right now. We have a governor's race going on in Ohio. We have a governor's race going on in Tennessee. We have there's some other states too they're having some governor's races. So those are going to be interesting, especially when the midterms start up this year too. That'll be a fun stream to do, because I'm actually interested to see how that will turn out, and see what the Republicans decide to do this cycle, right? Because a lot of the stuff that they promised back in 2024 is not happening, okay? And so I think a lot of the people are seeing through that and being like, hey, what is the point? Here's my thing, right? Okay. I would consider myself a pretty conservative guy, okay? But that default does not make me a Republican, nor does that mean that I have to blindly vote for a Republican, okay? I vote for people whose principles I agree with, okay? That's just who I am, right? I'm not just going to blindly anymore, vote for somebody just because, they have an R next to their name and we can't let the Democrats get in, right? Because ultimately, what does that do? That enables them to do whatever they want. If the politicians can control you and say, hey, well, you have to vote for me because they're not this other guy, what are they really telling you? They're saying, hey, you have to have unwavering allegiance and support for me to the point that you vote for me no matter what I do. That's really what that means. That's what they're saying, right? And so I think that people should be voting for their candidates based on the policies that they agree with, not just because they have an R or a D next to their name. And so that's going to be the interesting game this next election is seeing what happens, when push comes to shove, when the Republicans promise all this stuff and people are figuring out, hey, you promise all this, dude. My life is struggling. I'm struggling right now. It's hard to pay rent. Like I said earlier, Big Macs are $15, right? Grocery prices are crazy. Taxes are crazy. Like we're literally paying taxes for us to go bomb, civilians over in Gaza, right? Innocent women and children. It's like, what, like, like people are starting to ask themselves too. There was this big idea of a tax strike. Like, why are we even paying tax anymore? What is our tax money even going to? People say, oh, well, are you dumb? It's going to the roads, obviously. And it's like, really? Like, is that really where the money's going? Is that what's gotten us $40 trillion in debt? I don't think that the road work has gotten us $40 trillion in debt, right? Like, where is our tax money going? Like, at a certain point, it's like, what is even the point of, paying taxes, right? I'm not saying don't pay taxes, right? Obviously, Christ says, give unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, right? But it's like at a certain point, it's like, what is the principle behind this? Why are we doing anything that we do in this country? We are so lost, and I just think that we have become so unprincipled as a people that we really just have, ultimately, our society is just collapsing. You look all around you, and it's like, I saw the other day, there was like on Instagram, there were all these reports about that one Disney Channel star or whatever. The reports came out, they said that in I think it was 24 hours, she made $3 million. Okay. So you had this Disney Channel star comes out and announced they're making a OnlyFans, which for people who don't know, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what OnlyFans is at this point. Okay. It's prawn. All right. I don't know if I can say the actual word on YouTube without getting shadow banned, but we all know what OnlyFans is. Comes out and makes $3 million or something. I saw, as a society, how are we supposed to be sustained as a people when people like that are making so much money and people are willingly doing that? It's like we just have no morals or anything in our society. And I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, well, actually, it's like, oh, well, actually, they took God out of the schools and it's become, our society's degraded. It's like, no, but on a real level, that, because we have taken Jesus Christ out of the society, that is why things are collapsing the way that they are. That is why things are so bad. That is why our society's gotten to this point. And so, we really just, we got to put Christ back in society, man, which, that's also one of the main objectives of the show, is, like I said, having that Christian ethos in the show and ultimately directing people to love Jesus. And you know what that means, and a natural consequence of loving Jesus is that we put him back in society and that we proclaim him as king in our society, right? We don't just love Jesus as, this hippie neighbor guy who just, oh, he's a cool dude. No, we love Jesus Christ as king, as our Lord and Savior, right? There's a difference in those two. So that's kind of my rant on that, but we need to, dude, these are just, the chats right now are just so rage baity, dude. It's crazy. Stro, the goal to just rage bait me like this is insane. The goal to rage bait me like this is insane. Stro over here in the chat is saying, oh, we need to make abortion legal. And oh, dude, it's such rage bait. You guys are actually going to successfully rage bait me one day, I think. I'm not even going to lie. You guys are going to successfully rage bait me one day. And it's going to work. And it's probably going to work is the sad part. Goodness. I'm not used to my not talking this long, but holy cow. So, oh yeah, by the way, chat, I would highly encourage you guys, it's not too late. There is this thing called Exodus 90, okay? And it's basically like, let me just pull this up right now. I'm going to start, I'm doing Exodus 90 right now, okay? Today's the first day that it started. And basically it is 90 days of penance, right? 90 days of giving up things that you love and things that make life easier, right? Out of love of God and out of a certain intention you might have, right? And so, for example, like some of the things that I'm doing in my Exodus 90 plan is taking a cold shower every morning, right? Only eating one meal Wednesdays and Fridays, right? No meat on Fridays, working out every day, right? Just adding these disciplines into your life. And it's called Exodus 90 because it's for 90 days. Okay. So if you start today, it'll lead you all the way up to Easter. And then Easter is when it ends. And so it's kind of leading you on that journey all the way to Easter, right? Sacrificing, like it's almost like making your way to the cross, right? With Christ as he's crucified, right? You were crucifying yourself actively, right? Walking with him to the cross on Easter, right? And then, crucified with him, and then you're risen, right? So it's kind of like that, but yeah. Stro says in chat, I'm not rage baiting. I want babies to be killed and teens to get their balls cut off because it was promised by the Jewish leader Rockefeller. Ah, I see. Okay. I see, Stro. Interesting. All right. Okay, that's enough. That's gonna be it for me, guys. Just read that chat and I'll just leave. Hopefully nobody clips that out of context, but you know what? We're good. So anyways, but yeah, man. So let's see here. What else do we got? What else do we got here, guys? Give me some topics to talk about. Yeah, and hopefully I get better at these. But again, like, sorry if I'm kind of rambling tonight. I just, just trying to get back into the podcast game. You know what I'm saying? Average Drew stream time anyways. That's crazy. Yo, dude, my podcasts are longer than that. Okay. My podcasts are good. My podcast lasts for an average of, I don't know, maybe 30, 45 minutes, somewhere in there. No, so we're actually making good time tonight. We've been live for 40 minutes tonight. Can you believe it? 40 whole minutes tonight we've been live. It's great. It's amazing. It is amazing. So, but yeah, so no, like I said, we got some exciting things planned, everybody. We have some very exciting things planned. And yeah, I'm just excited to be back here with you guys. Excited to be back here with you guys and, podcasting away. So, let's see here. Drew is made for streaming, not podcast. Yeah, I know. Well, ultimately the goal is, and I'll just tell you guys like the long-term goal of the show. Like, I think like something that would be cool is like, if there was like this style of podcast, where it's like the podcast is like you have people sit down, but they're like interacting with the chat, because like so often you just have the interviewer and the interviewee, but you never have like the chat asking questions. It's always just like, and if they do ask questions, it's always like behind a paywall or something like that. But it'd be interesting to get a forum where it's like a live stream. Like the podcast is actually live stream. People can watch it live. They can tune in. They can ask questions, right? And the guests are looking at the chat, right? They're kind of getting a feel for where everybody's at. And I'm sure some people, I know people do that all the time, but I just think that it'd be interesting to have like a podcast format, but with the stream feel. It'd be interesting to try it out. Nobody's really done that, not that I've seen at least. And not to just have it be political, not to have it, spew some like talking points, but to have it like actually be interesting, to have diverse guests on, about politics, culture, Christianity, all kinds of different stuff. So, but I feel like that would be a really cool, vision for the show. But, let's see here. So, but yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for me tonight, guys. I just wanted to get on here, do a quick little show for you guys. Obviously, like I said, tomorrow's show will be way better. Sorry if I was, rambling tonight. I've said that like 4 or 5 times, but it's what you got to do when you're trying to fill airtime. So, but I really do appreciate you guys being here and everything. For the first episode back of the Not That Serious podcast, like I said, we're gonna be trying to do it Monday through Friday, sometime around 10 p.m. Eastern at night. So, but yeah, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this first episode back of the Not That Serious podcast. Stay tuned, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow for the second episode. All right. God bless everybody. Have a good one.